Alrighty, folks, you know I'm feeling great on a Wednesday morning because we're coming fresh off a perfect 4-0 clean sweep on my premium page yesterday. Our daily best play cashed, extra daily pick cashed, college basketball play cashed, and of course, our board member play got the job done as well. And even though we didn't have a chairman play yesterday, we do have a chairman pick going off here today. And we are also currently 4-0 in our last 4 chairman package picks on my premium page as well. Now, that chairman membership, it's a full access, all-inclusive package. It gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on my free videos and what I do on my premium site. Well, what I do here with the free videos, I'll handicap the entire slate of games, really in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my premium pages, well, I actually share with you which one of these free plays I actually like the best. I'm 3-0 my last 3 daily best plays, 2-0 my last couple of extra daily picks. And finally, guys, I'm 4-0 my last 4 chairman package plays on my premium page. And the good news is, guys, I have plays going off in all of those memberships here today. Once again, that site's patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into some free content. Let's go ahead and start off with that Nuggets Magic game, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Denver's the 4.5-point favorite, totals 217 and a hook. And even though Denver's got double-digit wins on the year already, those wins have not particularly equated to covers. As a matter of fact, the Nuggets failed to cover in their last 6 straight. And out of all their road games this year, they successfully covered the number only 1 time. They're facing an Orlando team who's done quite the opposite. They've successfully covered the point spread in all of their home games except for 1. When it comes to rebounding the basketball, this might be the best defensive rebounding team in the game. Paolo Banchero's second on the roster in boards, club leader in points. And when it comes to offensive production, Mo Wagner is making 62% of his field goal attempts off the bench. And the real strength of this Orlando team has been their defensive effort. These guys are currently in the top 5 in defensive points allowed. Now, injury-wise, Zeke Najee's questionable for the Nuggets. Jamal Murray's out. 6 out of Denver's last 7 road games did stay under the total. Orlando's 64% to the under for the entire season. Give me the Magic plus 4.5, under 217 and a hook. Next ball game, it is going to be Wizards Hornets, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Charlotte's the 5-point favorite, totals 242. And as bad as the Wizards have been, well, Charlotte's been pretty bad themselves, especially at home. This team is giving up more points a game on their home court than most clubs in the NBA. And even if the Hornets have a big lead late, well, they're very capable of blowing it. These guys are giving up more fourth quarter points a game than any other organization in the NBA. And believe it or not, they're facing a Washington team who does a nice job getting to the basket. I know that record is putrid, but these guys aren't completely anemic offensively. And as a matter of fact, Washington's in the top 5 in the league right now in field goals made per game. And when it comes to scoring points, it's Kyle Kuzma who's leading the roster with 23 points a game. Now, total-wise, 5 out of Washington's last 7 road games did get over the number. They're also 9-4 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, Charlotte's going 69% to the over for the entire year themselves. Give me the Wizards plus 5, over 242. Next matchup, Nets Hawks, 7:30 p.m. East. Atlanta's the 4-point favorite, totals 234.5. And even though they are favored by a couple of buckets, the Hawks have played their worst basketball at the State Farm Arena. They dropped 5 out of their last 7 at home, and they're allowing a ton of points there. Meanwhile, Brooklyn's had little issue covering the number or shooting the three-pointer themselves. The Nets are a top 5 three-point shooting team. Lonnie Walker is draining nearly 46% of his attempts from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, Mikal Bridges is averaging 20 points a night. Now, injury-wise, Smith and Thomas are both still out for the Nets. A.J. Griffin's questionable for Atlanta. When it comes to the total, 6 out of the Hawks' last 7 at home did get over the number. They're also 69% to the over for the entire year, giving the Nets +4 over 234.5. All right, next ball game, Heat Cavaliers, 7:30 p.m. East. Miami's 2.5 on the road, totals 212. The Heat is playing, they're playing some really good basketball at the moment. They got the W in 8 out of their last 9, and they're one of the better defensive teams in the East. Miami's allowing fewer second quarter points than any other franchise besides one. They're also, they're also facing a Cleveland squad who's not known for their offensive prowess. These guys are in the bottom 10 in field goals made per game. And as a team, the Cavs lost 3 of 6 at home this year. When it comes to the injury list, more bad news there. Okoro, Jerome, Mitchell, and LeVert, all questionable for the Cavs. Meanwhile, for Miami, Kevin Love sitting this one out for the Heat. Now, Miami went 5-3 to the under in their last 8 ball games. Meanwhile, Cleveland saw 4 out of their last 6 at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse stay under the line. Give me the Heat -2.5, under 212. Next game, it is going to be Bucks Celtics, 7:30 Eastern start time. Boston's the 6-point favorite at home, totals 235. And as good as Milwaukee's been here recently, I actually do like the Celtics to cover here. They're undefeated at the Garden thus far, and they've done a nice job defensively with Milwaukee in recent meetings. They've held Milwaukee to just 103 points a game in their last 10 gatherings. Boston also covered the point spread 8 times during that stretch. And speaking of the number, the Bucks failed to cover in 6 out of their last 10 themselves. And surprisingly, believe it or not, my biggest concern for Milwaukee bettors is their inability to rebound. You know, you think of Milwaukee, you're like, oh man, Giannis, big guys, they're going to grab a ton of boards, which they typically have, you know, in years past. But the Bucks are somehow one of the worst rebounding teams in the East right now at the moment. That could change by the end of the year. I fully expect that to change. But right now, these guys are not physical enough underneath the basket. Now, injury-wise, Lillard, Beauchamp, and Livingston are questionable for Milwaukee. And when it comes to the total, the Bucks saw 6 out of their last 9 get over the line. They're also 5-2 to the over in their last 7 road games. Give me the Celtics -6 over 235. Next contest, Raptors, Pacers, 7:30 Eastern tip-off. Indiana's 3.5, totals 237. And I definitely like this number for the Pacers here. They're 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. And they do play their best in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. They're a top 3-point producing team in the East on their home court. And their leading scorer, Tyrese Halliburton, he's been excellent from long range. Halliburton's currently drilling nearly 46% of his attempts from 3-land. Now they're facing a struggling Toronto club who lost 3 out of their last 4. And they struggle shooting the basketball. They're a bottom 5 3-point shooting team in the East. And no real surprise here, the Raptors do have problems shooting from the stripe. They're the 2nd worst free throw shooting team in the entire NBA. Now, injury-wise, Thaddeus Young and Christian Koloko are questionable for the Raptors. When it comes to the total, Indiana's 7-1 to the over in their own building. They're also 12-1 to the over for the entire year. Nothing but overs for these guys. Give me the Pacers -3.5 over 237. All right, next ball game, Bulls, Thunder, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. OKC's the 7-point favorite, totals 224. Now, Oklahoma City is one of the better covering teams in the NBA. They're currently 11-3 against the number for the entire season. And I tell you what, man, boy, did these guys make it look easy on offense. They've got the highest field goal percentage in the entire NBA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander makes 53% of his field goals. Of course, he's the leader on the team in scoring. Meanwhile, the combination of Holmgren, Dort, and Joe, They are collectively shooting well over 46% from beyond the arc between all three of them. And speaking of three-pointers, this is the best three-point shooting team in the NBA at the moment. Now, they're facing a Chicago team who allows more three-pointers than most clubs in the game. These guys allow nearly 15 three-pointers per contest. They're also rebounding terribly on both ends of the court. Now, injury-wise, Williams, Caruso, and Levine are questionable for Chicago. The Bulls saw overs recently against the likes of Miami, Detroit, and Phoenix. Meanwhile, OKC saw 6 out of their last 9 get over the line. Give me Oklahoma City -7 over 224. Next matchup, Clippers, Spurs, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. The Clippers are the 9-point favorite, totals 230.5. And I'll tell you what, for a team laying nearly double digits here, LA's had a tough time covering the point spread lately. They failed to cover in 6 out of their last 8, and they've been pretty awful on the road. Out of 7 contests away from the Crypt, LA's gotten the W only one time. And for some reason, they're having problems getting started offensively. They're a bottom 3 point producing team in the first quarter. And ironically, that's the only time San Antonio ever plays any defense. These guys are in the top 5 in the West in fewest first quarter points allowed. Victor Wembanyama, let's try that again, Brock. Let's slow it down. Victor Wembanyama, a.k.a. Wemby. He's the team leader in blocks and scoring. There we go. Got that out good. Keldon Johnson, he's dropping 16 points a night. When it comes to the injury list, Devin Vassal's still out for San Antonio. Now, total-wise, 7 out of the Spurs' last 8 home games all got over the total. They're also 11-3 to the over for the entire season. Give me the Spurs +9 over 230.5. Next contest, Grizzlies, Rockets, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Houston's the 5.5-point favorite, totals 213. The Rockets have been tough to beat in the Toyota Center. They're 6-1 in front of their own crowd, and they've been tough to score against in those contests. Houston's allowing fewer field goals made than any other team in the NBA. And of course, they're facing one of the worst shooting teams in the NBA in Memphis. These guys have the second lowest field goal percentage in the association. And no real surprise here, the Grizzlies have taken the loss in 7 out of their last 10. Now, injury-wise, Kennard, Tillman, LaRavia, and Smart are still out for Memphis. Oladipo's sitting out for Houston. 5 out of the Rockets' last 7 home games did stay under the number. Meanwhile, Houston's 67% to the under for the entire season. Give me the Rockets -5.5 under 213. All right, next matchup, Sixers, Timberwolves, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Should be a good game. Minnesota's the 6-point favorite, totals 219. Now, the Timberwolves are undefeated in the Target Center. And a lot of that is due to some stifling defensive play. These guys are the toughest team to shoot against in the league. They're facing a Sixer club who isn't all too dangerous shooting it from long range. These guys are in the bottom 10 in three-pointers made. And more recently, the Sixers dropped 3 out of their last 5. And, they struggled defensively during most of those games. Now, injury-wise, McDaniels and McLaughlin are inactive for Minnesota. When it comes to the total, the T-Wolves have seen unders recently against the likes of the Jazz and Nuggets. Meanwhile, Philly saw unders recently against the likes of Brooklyn, Detroit, and Phoenix. Give me the Timberwolves -6 under 219. All right, next ball game, Kings, Pelicans, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Sacramento's -2, totals 236.5. Now, the Kings won 6 out of their last 7, and they've done a nice job shooting the three-pointer. Malik Monk's drilling 41% of his long balls. De'Aaron Fox averaging 30 points a game. They're facing a Pelicans team who struggles defensively late in contests. They're giving up the majority of their points in the third and fourth quarter. And really, if you think about it, kind of similar trend for them offensively. This is a team who just performs poorly in the final minutes. The Pels are a bottom 10 point producing team in the fourth quarter. Now, injury-wise, Nance and McCollum are questionable for the Pels. Meanwhile, for Sacramento, Vezenkov, Duarte, and Lyles are day-to-day. Kean Ellis is inactive. Now, total-wise, Sacramento saw overs against the likes of the Spurs, Cavs, and Blazers. Meanwhile, New Orleans went 60% to the over in their last 10. Give me the Kings -2, over 236.5. Next contest, it is going to be Warriors-Suns, 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Phoenix is -2, totals 231. And as good as the Suns have been, they do play their worst basketball at home. And to be honest, it's actually their defensive play at home that's really let them down. They're facing a Golden State team who actually plays their best basketball when traveling. The Warriors are a top 10 point producing team on the road. They're also one of the best rebounding teams in the West away from home. And a lot of that is thanks to guys like Kevon Looney, who's snagging nearly double-digit rebounds a game. And, of course, Steph Curry's fourth in the entire NBA in points per contest. Now, injury-wise, Gary Payton's questionable for Golden State. Bradley Beal's still out for Phoenix. 6 out of the Suns' last 7 home games did get over the number. They're also 10-4 to the over for the entire season. Give me the Warriors +2. Over 231. Next ball game, Jazz Blazers, 10 o'clock Eastern start time. Utah's -2.5, totals 225 and a hook. And as bad as the Jazz have been, it's actually Portland who hasn't gotten a W in 8 straight. 8-game losing streak, worst offensive team in the game. They're dead last in scoring, dead last in three-point percentage. They're facing a Utah team who's got little problems on the offensive end of the court. They're good at shooting the three-pointer, top 10 in scoring. John Collins is making 44% of his attempts from beyond the arc. Lauri Markkanen, he leads the roster in scoring. Now, the Jazz saw unders recently against the likes of the Lakers, Timberwolves, and this very Portland team. Meanwhile, the Blazers saw the under cash in 4 out of their last 6 at home. Give me Utah -2.5, under 225 and a hook. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. Another game should be a good one. We got a pretty competitive slate here today. I'm talking about the Mavs at the Lakers, 10:30 p.m. East. Dallas is the 3-point favorite on the road here, totals 238. And I'll tell you, I really don't like this spot for Dallas backers here. They've lost 3 out of their last 4. And now they have to lay 3 points on the road here. And as good as they've been with the ball in their hands, well, Dallas has been nowhere good enough on the defensive end of the court. These guys let their competition make 50% of their field goals against them. And, of course, the Lakers on the other side, they're a top 5 field goal shooting team. LeBron James is in the top 10 in the West in field goal percentage, team leader in points. Of course, Anthony Davis, he's averaging 22 points a night himself, along with a dozen boards. Now, Reddish and Vanderbilt are questionable for the Lakers. Curry's questionable for Dallas. The Mavs are 7-1 to the over as the official road team. They're also 11-3 to the over for the entire year. Give me the Lakers +3, over 238. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Magic +4.5, under 217 and a hook. Washington +5, over 242. Brooklyn Nets +4, over 234 and a half. I'm 4-0 my last 4 chairman picks on my premium page. And the good news is I have another chairman pick going off here today. Miami Heat -2.5, under 212. Celtics -6, over 235. Pacers -3.5, over 237. Thunder -7, over 224. Spurs +9, over 230 and a half. Houston -5.5, under 213. Minnesota -6, under 219. Sacramento Kings -2, over 236 and a half. Warriors +2, over 231. Utah Jazz -2.5, under 225 and a hook. With my next and final free pick, give me the Lakers +3, over 238. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, guys, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that that chairman membership, it's a full access, all-inclusive package. It gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, guys, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, folks, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. I think they call it Drinksgiving, the day before Turkey Day. Biggest drinking night of the year. Be careful, guys. Probably don't want to drive. Don't be on the road. Stay home. Don't even go out. But yeah, I think they're calling it Drinksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving now. But anyway, happy Wednesday, happy hump day, happy Drinksgiving. And if I don't see you tomorrow, happy Thanksgiving. And don't forget to check me out on my premium page at patreon.com/BrockPage.